This episode is trash.
No, it's not. Just because we talked all about you doesn't mean it's trash.
Wait, so do you have a tagline? Or do you want me to do it?
Oh, yeah, shit.
Because I don't have any this week. I wanted to throw it to you if you're ready.
Nope.
Okay.
Do we have lag again?
No, I'm just like losing my words all of a sudden. All right. I have the tagline.
Hello, friends.
Hello, friends, and welcome to Pickles and Vodka, the mental health podcast where you're fuck.
That's a great tagline. The mental health podcast where fuck.
I feel like this is the episode where I'm going to have a panic attack on air, Lauren.
Oh.
And that should be our tagline, honestly.
You never know when we'll have a panic attack on air.
Yeah. And the reason that I may or may not have a panic attack on air is because it's my turn to pick the topic this week. And in researching a variety of topics, I've come to the realization that I just have a lot of shit I need to get off my chest.
Okay.
And so there's a few topics that I want to touch on today, but what I want the episode to be aimed for are people who maybe feel like they're a little insane right now, people who might be spending more time with their family because Thanksgiving's coming up in the US of A, and it's a difficult time. So all of the things I want to talk about today are kind of related to struggling with mental health during the holidays. And that's all the preview I'll give for now.
I'm already nervous about this one because you know what I would like to talk about. And I feel like that's all that's going to be on my mind and I can't talk about it.
Oh, I think I know what it is.
Yeah.
We never introduced ourselves, did we?
No, and I thought about it at one time, but then I didn't have a chance to insert that in. And then we just kept talking.
Well, I'm Christina.
And I'm Lauren.
And
this is Pico.
Pico! I can't see you, but I'm sure you're adorable right now.
Yes, as always.
I am wearing not one, not two, not three, but 4 pimple patches.
Ooh, hot.
So hot.
Sexy.
Lauren, where are you at this week?
So I guess first I want to tell you some of the good stuff because that's been more recent. So surprise, that good things happened this week.
Oh my God, what?
I know. Like I ended Thursday saying like, that was a good day. I went into work and we had planned for our work as just like as a whole team to do group volunteering at the local food bank. And so that's what we were doing. Yeah, that's what we were doing in the afternoon. So after lunch, then, everybody took off and we all met up there and worked there for 3 hours. I packaged sweet potatoes. I packaged scary mutant sweet potatoes. I can send you a picture of one that I am holding that I believe I claimed to my coworker taking it. This is bigger than my dog.
Oh my God, I need to see this.
Yes. There was 2 different offices that were working there. So we probably had about 10 people from ours and they probably had about 10 people from theirs. And at the end of the 3-hour shift, they told us that we packaged 11,200 pounds of produce, which
holy shit.
I thought sounded like a lot. I was pretty impressed with us.
I don't even know what 11,000 pounds of anything looks like, but produce, that's gotta be I don't know, a whole room at least. Sweet potatoes are pretty heavy.
Yes, they are, especially when they're mutants. and everybody else was packaging these nice little apples. That was me and one of my coworkers. So we kept giving everybody crap. We're like, we're doing the real work here. But I don't know. It was nice to do some physical labor. And of course, it was good to know we had this whole group that was donating our time and doing this for other people in preparation for Thanksgiving. So yeah, you just feel kind of good. And then I went right from that to, I had decided to sign up for an open gym where I take my aerial classes.
Oh, how are those going?
Oh, so good. And I had not realized when I signed up for it, I knew that we were doing this food bank thing, but I think I was thinking I was going to be doing stuff like, oh, I'm food packaging. I'm probably just going to be throwing boxes of cereal and macaroni and cheese in a box and wrapping it up. I didn't know I was going to be hauling big crates of sweet potatoes around. So I was just like, oh, I already got my workout. Now I'm going to the next one.
Oh, man.
But it went pretty well. I was able to do things and didn't feel too intimidated by the fact that I've only had 5 classes and can't do a whole bunch. And there was other people there that obviously been doing this for years and were flipping and doing all their fancy tricks. And I was just kind of like, let me do a simple little footlock.
Have you struggled with exercise in your eating disorder? Like, was that a part of your eating disorder? And how is it now exercising, like, in recovery? Do you struggle with that?
I have. I find that I think most exercise is boring and most exercise is a chore. So the only thing that I found that I enjoyed was walking. But
same.
Yeah, I know you do a lot. I mean, I call you and you're like, I'm going to go out for a walk. Hang on.
Well, but it hasn't always been healthy for me. So that's why I ask you.
Exactly. No, that's the exact same with me is I think, you know, even when there's like the voice in my head that was saying like, you have to exercise more, you have to exercise to burn all of this off and stuff like that. Like I could never get myself to do it if it was going to be like cardio equipment because that felt like a chore. And so I always thought like, well, I don't have to worry about this, but I discovered how much I loved walking. And then it was like, oh yeah. So once I discovered that works, then I used it to my disadvantage sometimes. It was like, I'm going to go out and just walk for miles and miles and miles. And maybe I will just go as far as I can go. And then I have to turn around and go home. And it feels like too much, but it's like, too bad. You got to get home somehow. So it's like forcing myself to do more than I'm capable of that way. So yes, it has happened.
Sometimes I would walk just because I needed to fill the time and I didn't know what to do with myself. And the alternative to walking was sitting at home and maybe doing something worse. It's funny you talk about volunteering because that kind of ties into stuff that's been going on with me this week. I've been doing a lot, but it's been really exhausting. And I keep thinking, man, I don't know how I used to walk as much as I did because like I couldn't do that now. I'm too exhausted, but I'm using my energy on more important things that actually make me feel good and enrich my life, you know?
Right.
Yeah,
I definitely used to be able to just spend all my free time walking and it's like, oh, that's real fulfilling. But at the same time, I know it's like, it's always a battle with that because like I said in the beginning, it is like the one thing that I found that I really enjoyed. So I have to then find the medium. It's like, I don't want to tell myself like, you can't go out and take walks because sometimes, like you said, I just like plug something into my ears and zone out and walk. And I'm just like, that settles me. I need that.
Yeah. That's how I first fell in love with podcasts and started having the idea of making my own podcast was when I was the most depressed I'd ever been in the summer of 2018. And I discovered podcasts and it made me feel less alone. And I know that's the reason why you wanted to be part of this too.
Yep. And hang on, I think I have to let Meatball in.
Oh, that's okay. My internet is acting up a little bit. It's making me very nervous.
Come in, you gotta be good.
I'm worried if I change the signal mid-recording, it'll fuck things up.
Okay.
I guess we'll see. I was just saying my internet might act up a little bit, but we're pushing through.
What?
We're pushing through.
We're pushing through what?
The potential lag.
Oh.
Oh, man. I think I want to abolish the outline today, Lauren, because I think it'll make things easier for me. But first, I do want to touch on some housekeeping because we do have some really important stuff we need to talk about. And we should just get it out of the way.
Yes.
Before the panic attack.
Yeah.
So,
yes.
The first most pressing thing is that the podcast is going to be turning 5 years old on December 3rd.
Oh
and
my God.
I just realized it this week.
Yeah. I did not know when the birthday was, so I was surprised at that too.
Yeah. But anyway, I was debating about whether I wanted to do something special. And of course, I think we should.
Yeah. We're 5. We can go to kindergarten now. Podcast kindergarten.
podcast kindergarten. But no, it's truly amazing to me that it's still going, and the community we've built here is so special, and I learn new things every single week podcasting with you, and I feel like we're both growing together and having fun, and there's a lot of fun stuff on the horizon, and I'm really excited about it. I called Lauren on a walk the other night, and we kind of talked about some stuff we want to do with the podcast. We really do want to grow and like get a little more serious about it.
Yeah, we specifically planned this call to talk about that, and we talked about some exciting stuff, and then Christina sent me a text the next day with everything she forgot that had like twice as much exciting stuff. But yeah, there's a lot of things in the works.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to talk about it yet, but this is your teaser.
That's fair. I don't know that I do either.
Yeah. But we have a lot of exciting updates in the works, a lot of exciting guest appearances. Orion is coming back to do a movie review with us.
What? I didn't know this.
What? I'm pretty sure he mentioned it to us. Well, maybe. I can't remember.
No.
Well,
because I don't know what movie.
He's obsessed with movies. It's all he talks about. Hello? Are you there?
Hello?
Oh my God.
Yes.
No, it started.
Shitballs.
Shitballs for breakfast. I kind of hate all of this so far, but I really want to push through it.
Yeah, I don't think it's all bad.
I'm so uncomfortable right now. I'm so nervous. I'm just like shaking. I probably had too much caffeine.
That's fair, because that I feel like was me last week.
I don't know. I felt you did great last week. I always feel like I'm the one that's a mess lately.
Yeah, I mean, you can feel like I did great, but you can't feel like inside of me beforehand where I was like, this is such a stupid idea. I'm fucking up. Oh God.
Yeah, I don't know. I've had a lot of things happening in my personal life that I've been trying really hard to process. I've been trying to make it make sense for the podcast in a nutshell, but I can't. And I think that's what's making me so frustrated right now. I was writing in my journal about how I was never doing any real writing. And I was saying, like, I feel like if it was real writing, it would have a point and it would wrap up, it would come to a conclusion, or it would teach me something about myself. But I feel like it's doing none of those things. And I feel like when we're in it, it's hard to see things as meaningful. And that includes this podcast sometimes for me.
Yeah, I agree that there have been a number of times where I've listened to it when it comes out and I felt like recording like we didn't say anything. And then after I listened to it, I'm like, maybe we did say something.
The point is, I've been really trying to, I spent 2 hours this morning kind of making myself an outline, listing any points I wanted to bring up. And we do have a lot of stuff to talk about. That's the ironic thing. We have so much to talk about, but I just feel like I'm at a loss for words again.
I was just, as you were describing that, I was like, so many things to talk about, lots to do, lots to focus on, but feeling so overwhelmed you can't start. Does that sound like ADHD?
Oh my God. No, honestly, I think it's a bigger problem than I want to admit. So if you don't know, I got diagnosed on my birthday in July this year at 31, and I was talking to my therapist about finding resources for affordable meds, and then that kind of fizzled out. And of course, I recently quit my therapist, and lately I've been really kind of pushing myself to look for meds again, like to start trying to figure something out, because it's just been so debilitating. And the tricky thing about it, and you can probably relate to this, is like, it's hard to tell how many of your other mental health symptoms are really ADHD in disguise.
Oh, yeah. I mean, since it has been brought up to me, the possibility like a few years ago, it all makes sense why, like, early on, I struggled majorly with panic attacks, as have been detailed at some point in past episodes. And after that, it always felt like there was some like anxiety problems that came and went, but it didn't quite fit like normal people anxiety. And I was like, do I have anxiety? Do I not? And like the first time it got described as like, this is actually probably ADHD masking as anxiety. And I was like, yeah, everything that I attribute to anxiety is actually what you described as what ADHD people usually experience. Like that is my anxiety. So it's kind of like, maybe I don't really have an anxiety problem, which is fine. Let's get rid of one if I'm going to get another.
Well, but it's all valid, right? one does not negate the other or like invalidate the other. I think it is all woven together and it's highly individual, which makes it so difficult. I'm really hesitant to...
Yeah, because it plays into a depression a lot too.
Well, yeah, it's so like I can't tell you how maddening it is to just have all these ideas and all these ambitions and all these passions floating around in my head, but not being able to do anything about them because I just don't know what to do first and I can't focus on any of them and I just hate myself more and more.
You can tell me because that is my brain. That has been me. I get it.
I mean, I laugh about it, but you saw the video I posted to my Finstagram the other day.
Yes.
You said you had some thoughts about it.
Probably just kind of stuff we're talking about right now.
Yeah. Basically, I was talking about this same stuff, but instead of laughing about it, like watching back, I just look so exhausted and miserable.
Oh, yeah. You sounded like done.
Yeah. Because I am in many ways. But like, there are good things too. It's just really hard to focus on them. Like you have to make an effort to focus on the good things. And I think sometimes we fall into the trap of only focusing on the bad things.
I agree.
Oh, my stomach.
I heard it.
I just had a smoothie. I bought like the vegan versions of Ensures the other day to keep at my office because I've like been struggling with feeding myself lately. And it's like, I don't like to eat in front of other people.
Same.
I just, I won't get into that now.
Oh, I was going to say, here's a little confession time. I've been doing either like a bagel or an English muffin with peanut butter in the morning. And every morning I feel like I sneak my bagel or English muffin out of the refrigerator, hoping that nobody is looking, go into my office and secretly like I'm performing surgery or something like that. I'm just kind of like bent over, like nobody come by and see that I'm making myself a bagel with peanut butter.
Yeah. It's... I don't know what it is.
I'm aware when I'm doing that. I'm like, well, it's still messed up. I'm like, but I'm having breakfast. So. Okay,
I have a really touching story to share, I guess, that has to do with this. So I've been hanging out with this new friend lately that I met at the protest in DC. And I came over to their house the other day and they were making food for their roommate. And they offered some to me and I was like, no, I'm good. But I hadn't really had a real meal all day. And like, I kind of mentioned last week, I haven't been doing so good in that area and I still like don't really want to acknowledge it. But I really haven't been doing good in that area. It just like is not a priority right now with everything else going on. It's kind of like my reaction to all this trauma happening in the world is just like to get rid of one more complication in my life, and food is a huge complication.
Sorry, I was trying to... I was trying to very sneakily let Meatball out without interrupting the podcast.
Oh my god, it's okay. I don't even know if I want to tell this story just yet. I don't know.
Do it.
It just feels so dumb.
Vulnerable.
Okay, I'll push through.
It's our favorite.
Well, so they were making food and they offered me some and I said no. And then I think they could tell I was hesitating because they brought me like a little bowl and they like gently pushed it over and they were like, I made you some in case you want it. Or like, I don't know. I usually hate it when people do that. But in this moment, I just felt so like seen and supported, but not like pressured. It was a really emotional moment for me. And I never told them what an emotional moment it was for me, but I don't know. I just felt like someone was noticing how unwell I was because I just felt super unwell and on edge. And sometimes I feel crazy because when I feel like that, no one notices.
Yes. Yeah. I get that too. Like, I can't think of specific examples, but I know exactly what you're talking about, where like most of the time it feels like that's annoying when someone does something like that. But sometimes it hits just right. And you're just like, thank you. I needed that.
Yeah, it did hit just right. It was like, I don't know. It made me realize that I could have said no to the food easily. I do it all the time. But I think the reason that I accepted it was because I recognized it was coming from a place of genuine, what's the word? caring.
I was going to say, my first thought was care. I feel like maybe there's a more complicated word, but
it's more than that. Just validated. Like, by accepting the food, like, it's like hard for me to talk about. I don't know why. But it was almost emblematic of accepting help in other ways, because by taking that food, I kind of opened myself up to accepting more help down the line, you know, becoming vulnerable.
I feel like, you know, like I said, I've also had the two different experiences where sometimes you're like, no, why are you doing this? And sometimes, then it hits right. And I feel like it's kind of related to my thing where it's like, I prefer empathy to sympathy. And that's what it almost feels like. If it feels like it's coming from a sympathy place, I'm going to be more like squicked out and like, no. Where if I feel like it's coming from an empathy place, it's like, oh, thank you, you get it.
Exactly. And this person knew about my history with eating disorders, if only a surface amount.
Yeah, and it's a nice, it's just a way of saying, I see you, instead of saying like, oh, poor baby, you gotta eat.
Exactly. And then yesterday, we went to a different protest, and afterwards we got food, and I wasn't expecting to get food with people. It was uncomfortable, but like, again, I kind of in the moment admitted that I hadn't eaten in a while, and they were just like, oh, we need to get you food. Like, they didn't make a big deal out of it. They're just like, okay, let's just go to get food. And it, again, just a small thing that made me feel seen. And I didn't have to do all the work of helping myself, because now there's other people who are also, and it also made me realize that like there's a lot of people in my life right now who can offer this sort of support.
That's good.
But I don't always utilize them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The other thing on my mind is my family, because I'm not going to Thanksgiving this year. I might actually be volunteering on that day, which is why I was saying it's funny you brought it up, because that's kind of what I'm planning to do on Thanksgiving Day. But I mean, I have to admit, the volunteering thing is kind of like, I was glad to have it as an excuse. Yeah.
Here's a reason that I'll stay busy.
I'm really nervous about talking about it because I know my mom listens, and who knows who else listens. I feel like pressure to explain myself, but honestly, I don't know if I have the energy to, like, I feel like I have to argue almost, like, I don't know, hold on. I'm sorry. I don't know. The ultimate thing that I want them to know is that it's not something I'm doing to them. It's something I'm doing for me.
Yeah.
And, you know, you could say it's because of politics. You could say it's because of, you know, me coming out earlier this year. You could say it's any number of things, but ultimately it comes down to how I feel around them. And that kind of ties into like how I feel around, I don't know how to phrase this without like offending someone.
I think we need to find a way to get away from that. Like trying so hard to not offend anybody. There's a line. I always feel like it's like, yes, obviously you don't want to just go out and be like, you all suck. But you can't just try not to offend everybody in exchange for being real.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know what I think will happen if I do offend someone.
We'll get canceled.
By my mom.
Yeah. Your mom and Orion and Vicky, our main listeners, will all band together and cancel us.
No! Oh no, that's a terrible thought.
No, they'd never do that.
You know what's ironic? I originally wanted the topic of this episode to be feeling insane, and now I'm actually insane. Like, I'm actually too insane to do the episode about feeling insane. I guess, I don't know.
Yes, you can do it.
I'm just not doing great.
That happens. It's okay to say that. Yes.
I really need to talk about Thanksgiving and like why I'm not going. That's the thing I'm avoiding, I think.
And I feel like it's because you are right now trying to have that conversation for the people you know might be listening.
Yeah, I guess so. Can you ask me questions about it?
I'll try.
Can you interview me about my trauma?
I mean, you came came on and you're like, I have a ton of ideas I want to touch on. I have a ton of like little topics. And then you're like, can you ask me about that?
Oh my God. I do though. That's the thing I do. Sometimes I feel like I need a little push start.
This is going to be the episode where Lauren gets ambushed into being an interviewer.
This is the episode where I cut 90% of it. And it's just like, oh my God. Well, so I've been feeling really insane lately. And it's been a lot of things. It's been the genocide. It's been going on for over a month that no one is doing anything about, and that I was previously blind to. And it's opening my eyes to a lot of other things that I've been blind to. I feel a lot of guilt and anger. Also, I do feel a lot of it is righteous anger. Like, I have been sheltered from a lot of this stuff my whole life. I was not educated. I was brainwashed. And so it feels good in some ways to wake up to all these injustices and educate myself about it. And of course, I want to share what I'm learning with the people in my life. But I've just been met with a lot of resistance when I try to do that. A lot of invalidating my feelings that this is actually really important, because it is. Like, a lot of, why do you have to bring up politics? Why is this even affecting you? You know, protesting is not going to do anything. Why can't we just agree to disagree? Or, you know, we all have different opinions, all that stuff. And I just feel like I'm getting gaslit by certain people and by myself.
Yeah. I don't know. It's not the greatest answer because it's kind of depressing, but I feel like I've learned that for me, usually it feels like I'm having those kinds of like one-sided discussions that are going nowhere with my parents or other people in my family who are older, let's say. So at that point, I kind of feel like there's only so far I can push it, because it's just like, this has been their mindset for so many years. I know that I probably don't have the capability to change that. And like, if I'm feeling positive about it, then I think my thoughts is like, okay, well, then I got to try and think of like where I can put my efforts, where there is a possibility to make some change, because this is like saying, I know nothing about math, and do I want to try and learn enough to pass a basic algebra test, or do I want to pass advanced calculus in a week? And, you know, it's like one of them is going to be easier to accomplish. It's like, put your efforts there instead of like putting all your efforts into something that's going to be nearly impossible.
Yeah, that is applicable to many different areas in my life right now.
Yeah.
Just, prioritizing certain things above the other. And I've always been really bad at that. I want to do it all at once because I think I'm afraid of losing focus. And so I want to do everything while I still have the energy for it. But that never works. And I get burnt out. And I end up on my own podcast 43 minutes in, still not talking about anything.
Here's a question I was thinking. I don't know if it's related or not, but it is related to family and stuff.
Okay.
And now I hope I don't offend any of your family.
Too late.
I was just wondering how you have been feeling. I know since you moved close to them, you know, there's been a lot of like positives about that. Have you gotten to a point where you feel like maybe it's not always doing you so much good to be so physically close to them? I know we're both kind of nomads. That's why I was like, are you kind of itching to leave?
Well, I think that's what hurts the most, is that I did move across the country from Seattle to be here with them in Virginia. Like, I did make that decision because I wanted to kind of give them another chance and see how I felt about it. And I thought maybe I had matured enough to be around them without triggering myself. And when I say that, I really don't want to paint them like bad people or anything.
No, because from my view, it seems like they did provide a lot of what you needed at that point, but you're not the same person that you were a year ago or 2 years ago or whenever you moved.
Well, and also the person I was whenever I moved here in 2021, in some ways was still the kid who was, you know, traumatized in so many ways, you know, and I don't even, I feel guilty even using that word because well, go back and listen to our big T, little T trauma episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But like, I feel a lot of times I convince myself that it wasn't really that bad and that everything is normal and I should just be grateful to have the relationship with them that I have. But I do hide a lot of myself around them. And I don't feel like they see me because they don't want to see certain parts of me. They would rather just conveniently hide it away and not talk about it. But I can't just not talk about the things that are important to me. I can't just hide parts of my identity, like.
Yeah, so I'm really trying to embrace my forced role of interviewer.
I really appreciate it. I'm like crying over here.
I feel like you talked about this in the very beginning, when you had the episodes where you explained like, hey, this is kind of my coming out. And then you said like it went pretty well with your family. How are you feeling about that now? Do you feel some sort of like expectations or like maybe that's getting like, okay, we know this now, we're pushing it aside, or what? How's the feeling?
Well, so I came out, and the reason I came out was because Brett and I broke up. It was impossible to ignore. And so I feel like after that, I kind of have put it away. Like I have my little growing queer community that I love, but I kind of just keep it tucked away and I compartmentalize because that's kind of what I'm used to doing. Like when I'm around my family, like they never ask me how it's going. They never like we just never talk about it. And I was talking to my mom about politics and stuff, and she was like, "Why is it such a big deal that we talk about politics? And why can't you just like we would never stop being friends with you if you had differing opinions?" And I was trying to explain it's not just opinions. These things really affect my life as a queer person, as a woman in America, whatever. I'm still privileged as fuck, but like I'm trying to be better. I don't know. She just doesn't get it.
It's funny. I wish that I could ask my mom that, like, why do we have to talk about politics? But she has a different approach. So
I guess I just feel kind of like the world is ending and I'm going insane and I'm really seeing a lot of truths for the first time. And I'm not alone in thinking this, that what's happening in Palestine has really kind of woken a lot of people up to a lot of things. Just the way the media is covering it, the way people are reacting to it. And it's also making me realize like what is important to me. So all of this to say, going to Thanksgiving right now, like bearing in mind everything we've just talked about, it just feels kind of tone deaf to just go to Thanksgiving and act like everything's okay and talk and have small talk and ignore the fact that there's a genocide happening right now. It's just like, I feel like I would just cause fights if I went. And I don't want to be seen as the crazy person who comes and starts fights. And you know what I mean? I think that's one part of it.
Yeah, just in general, I have kept myself away from things. And I don't want to say this to affirm like, yes, you would be a problem. But what I'm saying is like, I've kept myself away from things if I know like I am not in the right mood. I'm not in the right headspace. Like I'm not going to contribute to the spirit that everybody else is in. And I don't want to ruin that spirit for you. I would rather, focus on what I need to for myself.
Exactly. Like they've made a choice. Well, it's not even that. Yeah, I just can't.
But I feel like it is. It really is just doing something positive for yourself. It's recognizing like, this is where I am. That is not where I am right now. I can't pretend to be there.
Yeah. I was asking some questions to myself. I was saying, if I went to Thanksgiving and I was being around my family, how would that make me feel? And I was asking myself some questions to kind of ascertain whether it was healthy or not. And I was comparing how I felt like in that situation to how I feel around other people. So some of the questions were, do you spend your energy hiding parts of yourself around them, or do you get excited to share new parts of yourself with them? Sharing versus hiding.
That's just a good question to ask. I was like, oh, no wonder I don't mind that I don't go to very many family things anymore, because my answer would be hiding.
Well, yeah, but like, I guess the question I'm asking myself and the question listeners might be asking themselves in this situation is, would it be better to go and mask, like to keep the peace? Because, people aren't going to be happy if you don't go, and it's going to cause a lot of...
Now, here's the thing that I was thinking. I feel like you made this choice for overall positive reasons. Like you are trying to not cause them more distress that you feel like would inevitably happen because you you can't just stay quiet about things that you're feeling, rightfully so, and that you're trying to do things to help yourself. Where I think of, what if you had said, like, I don't want to go to Thanksgiving because I don't want everyone to watch me eat food. Like that is saying, like, I'm just trying to protect my eating disorder versus I'm trying to protect my own well-being.
I mean, that's also a part of it, though.
Of course, that is every single time I go to a family thing. I agree. But I don't feel here like that's not your focus. That's not your reasoning. You're not lost in that saying, like, that's the whole reason I can't be in front of them. It's, I agree. If I were in your situation, I'm sure a little voice in my head would be like, and bonus. But yeah, I don't feel like that's why you're doing it.
And I also don't want them to see that side of me that is being weird about food right now, because I don't want them to see me in that light. Like, I don't want that to be my identity anymore.
Yeah, I feel that all the time. So I get that.
I think I'm just going through like an existential crisis where I don't know who I am and I don't know what my identity is. And it's a lot.
Yeah, which makes sense. You've had a lot that has been on your mind and to deal with, and not necessarily change like because it's you, but like realizing these things about yourself. So yeah, an existential crisis actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, this whole episode is an existential crisis.
Can that be our title? This whole episode is an existential crisis.
That's the title.
Okay.
I don't know how I don't know what I'm doing right now to help myself. I feel like I should be doing more that I'm not.
I don't know what to say.
Well, you're in recovery right now.
Trying. Sort of.
What does that mean?
That means I still don't feel very, like, I don't feel very much like I want to. Like, I don't feel, like, yes, I am trying for recovery. I am trying to do what I need to. It's just more like, it's kind of happening, and I'm just saying, yeah, all right, I guess this is probably the better decision.
I mean, I think that's not a bad place to be. Yeah. Because at least you're doing it. Like, sometimes all you can do is go through the motions, but that's better than not doing anything at all or making things worse.
Yeah, it feels like a very begrudgingly fake it till you make it.
I guess that's my problem. I can't fake it anymore, and I'm asking myself, should I even try to fake it? What is the benefit of that? Because I feel like the people who are most supportive of me, I don't have to fake being quote unquote sane around them. But also, as you and I know, because we met in an eating disorder community online, sometimes that can be like, that can have the effect of an echo chamber. Yes. Where you just, So like, I don't know. I think I'm so overwhelmed by making a decision. I'm just isolating. Like, that's why I've been isolating so much. And that's why it's so hard for me to talk about things. I feel stuck. This episode is trash.
No, it's not. Just because we talked all about you doesn't mean it's trash.
I've been avoiding a lot of things, I think.
Probably.
I'll just be glad when next week is over. Yeah.
By the time we're doing this next week, because I'm assuming we are, since no one's going anywhere.
No, I'll be staying here. I won't be doing anything. I forgot what we talked about in housekeeping before.
I don't think we talked about much other than saying we got a lot of things coming.
Do you want to talk about some of them now?
Sure. I think we got sidetracked, but in my scratch paper that I always keep near me during an episode, I wrote Orion in all capital letters, underlined it, and then I wrote movie in question mark because I still don't know what this was.
Oh, yeah. So Orion really wants to do another movie review with us. That's it.
Okay. I thought you said that there was a specific movie.
Well, there were a few, but I don't want to spoil.
I mean, I hope this isn't spoiling anything because I think it's a given. We're clearly going to have to do another movie review when Inside Out 2 comes out.
Oh my God, yeah. Inside Out 2, confirmed release for 2024.
Yes.
And there's a new character named Anxiety.
Yes.
I feel like I'm forcing you to be the interviewer and the therapist on this episode.
I try my best. I don't know that I'm great at either one, but I'm willing to try.
I don't know what else to say. I can't believe that we've been doing this for so long.
What number is this? We're in like the 140s, right?
This is 142. That means in just 8 episodes, we're going to have our 150th episode.
See, I'm thinking of it. I believe my first episode was 90.
Yeah, as a co-host.
Yes, I'm waiting till I can say that I have been here for half of our episodes. So 180 is going to be an exciting one for me.
Oh, yeah. Keep track of that. We need to have like a calendar.
All of our big milestones.
Y'all, the podcast is turning 5 years old. So if you have a favorite episode or a relatable moment or something that made you laugh, just anything you want to share that you would want us to share on our commemorative episode, send it our way, please.
Maybe we'll just sit around and reminisce.
Or have more panic attacks.
Or commiserate, yeah.
Yeah, I feel really bad about this episode, not gonna lie.
I don't think you should.
I really planned a plan, but I couldn't execute. Sometimes your brain has other ideas.
Yeah, but I think that we had a lot of really important conversations, and I, for one, am actually excited to listen to it on Monday.
Really?
I am.
I'm nervous about it.
Not lying. I wouldn't lie to you.
I hope not. You're my co-host.
I know. Like, as we talked about people that we hide ourselves from, you're not one of them.
I really appreciate you. And listeners, I appreciate you too. If you listen this far, thank you so much for being here. Tell a friend about this podcast. Oh, God. I feel like I can't, in good faith, tell people to listen to us when we're like this.
Oh, come on. They gotta take the good and the bad.
That's right, because we're authentic.
Yep.
And I feel like a lot of you feel this way right now. If so, please let us know, because I could use some empathy.
Good. Did you see my text message I sent right before I got on?
No.
Just to totally 180.
Wait, let me look right now. It's okay that this is long. I feel like our episodes have been too short lately. What? Oh
yeah, God. I was going to say, here is my reason why I feel like the world is going to hell. It's a little more localized, but yeah.
It's a doormat, and it has a list of bullet sizes. Is that what those numbers are? 22, 380, 9mm.
Bullets or guns. You know, I don't shoot people often, so I'm not too familiar with it. The terminology.
On the other side, it says all faster than dialing 911.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
So that is one of my neighbors.
Oh my God. Fucking Missouri. No offense, Missourians.
No, it's fair. That's where I feel like, yes, there's like crime and stuff going on in my neighborhood, but I see stuff like that and I'm just kind of like, well, that's why nothing is helping because, you know, you realize obviously there's crime going on here and that is your response.
Does that make us the sane ones in this situation?
Yes, we are perfectly sane. We rarely get to say that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when you're around like-minded people, I think it's easier to feel sane. And I feel saner around you.
Oh, good. That's why I have my coffee cup from you that says you're good for my mental health. Oh,
yes. Oh, did I ever post the picture of that? I don't think so. I have a picture of you when you opened it.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think so.
I promise we won't be like this next week. We do have other people coming on to help us out that we're really excited about.
Even though I don't know all of this, apparently.
Well, no, we talked about Christopher from the Unfocused Writer.
Yes. I didn't know because you said, like, I don't want to get into some of these things right now. I didn't know if you wanted to, like, break that one open. I'm so excited about that.
I mean, I just want to give them a free shout out anyway. But Christopher and Christy from the Unfocused Writer podcast really want to collaborate with us. They took a little break from podcasting for a while, and then they started up again. And Christopher messaged again to say that they wanted to collaborate.
Yeah, and I'm so excited about this because obviously we've had some contact with them in the past. Well, mostly Christina's had contact with them, but because of the things that, that were said and shared, then I know maybe like 2 months ago, I was just like, I think that, sounds like they've got a lot of they're in line with us on a lot of things. I'm like, I want to listen to what they're doing. And I listened to, like their last couple published podcasts. And that was immediately my thinking. So I was just like, oh my God, it sounds like we could be so in sync. I would love to collaborate, but I saw how long ago they were. And I was just like, maybe they're not podcasting anymore. So I'm really excited about this.
They're doing a lot. They publish writing pretty regularly. Like they have a literary journal that they publish.
Yeah, I should look into that as well.
Anyway, go check out The Unfocused Writer. They're great. They're kind of like our vibe. They're all over the place and messy, and I just can't wait to talk to them.
I know, me too.
And I also can't wait to talk to Orion, obviously, about I just need a movie review episode, I think. I'm tired of like being vulnerable.
No, that's totally fair.
Not that it won't be vulnerable.
No, but yeah, we need to find some ways to break it up sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. That's Pickles and Vodka, everybody. Follow us on socials if you feel like it, ? No, you know what? Do it. Do it for me.
Do it.
And do it for Pico.
That's right. Maybe even do it for Meatball, even though he's an asshole.
Yeah. And Lauren can tell you how to do that.
Yes, I can. Here are the multitude of ways that you can follow us on the social medias. You can follow us at Pickles and Vodka Podcast on Instagram. Or if you have a thought that only we can read, you can send that to... Sorry, I broke the phone
keep
voice.
going.
Okay.
This is great.
You can send that to picklesandvodkapodcast@gmail.com. You can check out our Facebook. It's Pickles and Vodka, a mental health podcast. Also on YouTube at Pickles and Vodka Podcast. And if you would like, you may follow our personal Instagrams at xtinajumper or at Pico Suave, PICOSAUVE, and stay tuned as there will be more social media opportunities coming soon.
Ooh, great teaser. All right, well...
We done it. Bye!
I guess we did. Bye. Oh my God.